All right, it's the first trading day for this week, the last full trading week of September. We will have one, that's for September in this month, and definitely a lot has happened, a lot has played out. Let's have Anita to play out what's transpired in the international markets we track, and the local bourse staying above 98,000 last week, and let's see if that holds.
Yeah, good afternoon, Adi. Actually, the market closed Friday at 98,247.99 points.
Right.
But as you can see on your board there, intraday, yes, this number is still, moving up and down. But the last tracking, we saw it higher than what it closed last week, and we see that means that there's lots of bargain hunting for some of those stocks.
So is 100,000 on the cards now?
On the horizon.
Even though we know the central bank is meeting right now.
Exactly.
We'll have a decision tomorrow. Will it be a rate hike, a jumbo rate hike, or maybe a dovish hike? What are we expecting?
Well, at first, I spoke to one of the equity markets trader, and he said, well, many of the investors there are going to be cautious because the outcome of the monetary policy decision by the central bank, which is coming at a time. Just last week, we saw a flurry of central banks around the world from the all.
Everybody's cutting at this point. And I'm wondering if I'm the governor of Nigeria's central bank, I'll feel left out of the party. Seeing the likes of the U.S., the BOE, all cutting rates, even here in Africa.
Even South Africa.
Yeah, they're cutting rates.
Yeah.
Ghana led, the rate cutting season. But I'm not the governor, but I'd feel left out. But, let's see how the market.
But don't forget, it's the wildcat called inflation. That's what they're trying to tame. And according to, the reason why all these markets have either held or cut is because they've been able to hold back on inflation. Inflation has decelerated. But not also in Nigeria here, we saw inflation coming down all the way from 33.4% to 32.15%. So, but I think the consensus will be that Nigeria's central bank would hold. So, but fingers crossed, we look out for that outcome tomorrow. But for now, let's talk about the market intraday movement for markets on the African continent. And as usual, always starting off from the Nigerian front, where the NGX, that's the Nigerian Exchange All-Share Index, up by 0.12% at intraday, and of course, like we mentioned, still climbing, and at the same time also maybe putting some breaks, because these numbers will always come out at the close of trading session for Monday, 2:30. Of course, it's a full week. Last week we had just 4 trading days, but at the same time, the market in 3 trading sessions last week was able to hold onto the positive terrain, which it closed for Friday. Now, for the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, we see 0.79% at intraday, 84,000. Of course, this market has been it's been able to come back. It didn't go down below 81,000, which it at some point fallen to. But at intraday for Monday, 84,489.44. That's the number that we registered at intraday a couple of hours ago. So for that market, and then for the other 2 markets on the African continent. On one side, it's a close. That's for the Nairobi Stock Exchange, NSE 20, NSE All-Share Index, 0.61% for Friday at 106.44. We see some bargain hunting on that index, while the EGX 30 in Egypt at intraday was slightly down 0.03% at 31,027.80 for that market. And now we're talking about Nigeria's what to expect, the financial market, the expectations this week. We're starting off first with the MPC, which has already began its 2-day bi-monthly monetary policy decision. And this is the second to the last before we have the next one coming up sometime in November. So the meeting has begun. And of course, the outcome of that meeting, which we'll be having a special edition on Business Incorporated tomorrow, where we see whether the Nigerian Central Bank would hold or would hike, or maybe it would lower the interest rate. Your guess is as good as mine, but we'll look out for that. And at the same time, as we speak, we're looking at the debt management office, which is auctioning about 3 debt instruments of the federal government bond, which is worth about 150 billion naira. That's currently happening at the moment. And then for Wednesday, we also expect that the debt management office would roll over more than 227.5 billion naira worth of maturities at a Nigeria Treasury bills auction coming up on Wednesday, September the 25th. And then at the same time, we're also expecting that more than 828.0 billion naira inflows from the FAC allocations. FAC was just released last week, so that inflow is expected to hit the market. There's going to be much liquidity, and at the same time, the disbursement, as well as the 202.545 billion coupon payments. We'll be talking about the delay in payment of coupons for the FGN savings bonds auction, but we'll be talking about that just in a couple of seconds from now for the fixed income market. So that's it on the expectation, which we got all that information from the central bank as well as the debt management office, and that's carried out by our research department. So now let's get a deeper perspective of the market at intraday, but starting first with the savings bond payment delay. What impact is this having on the market? Why is this happening? So to give us a closer picture on that, we bring in Bosun Obembe, fixed income dealer with Access Bank, to give us more details on that. Thank you for joining us, Bosun.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Okay, so Bosun, yeah, we know that the government has been trying to get particularly retail investors or smaller level investors to invest in government bonds, which is savings bonds. But this time we're seeing the government making some delay. At some point we heard the debt management office attributing this to a glitch. Now, can you give us more details about why this delay is happening for the payment of coupons on the FGN savings bond?
So like you said, the information we got about the savings bond, it was system glitch, right, and a system issue. And when you look at the coupon due on all these instruments, it's less than 1 billion. It's about 638. And this is not something that has happened before. So, and the amount involved is quite small. So, a system glitch, and I think the coupon has been paid now. I can confirm that. I know some were paid over the weekend. So, the savings bond, see the rate on it is quite attractive. On 2-year bond is 17.2, and on 3-year bond is about 18.2. So about 3.6 billion was raised this month. So I don't think it's something that investors should worry about. The government is capable of redeeming any obligation in naira.
Well, thank you so much for that, for allaying the fears of the delay in the coupon payment. Now, let's talk about another side of the bond, and this time is the FGN bond. We know that as we speak now, the debt management office is reopening or auctioning the 19.3% FGN April 2029 bond, as well as the FGN February 2031 and the FGN May 2033 bonds. So now, what is investors' interest towards these three debt instruments?
So, like you said, if you look at the amount on offer for this month, I think is one of the lowest that we've had. So we have 70 billion on 2029, we have 50 billion on 2031, and 30 billion on 2033. That's about 150 billion. So the DMO is not actually looking to raise a lot of fund. I think thanks for the domestic Eurobond, where the DMO was able to raise about $900 million. So I think that is a good one for the DMO to get a cheap source of funds. So the amount on offer is quite small, and the law of demand and supply. You have supply that is small, and you have a lot of demand. This week, there's been a lot of coupon payment that has come into the system. We have a FAC payment that's coming, and we have Sukuk that is maturing, about 100 billion maturing. The rental payment on it to due on the 26th of September. So a lot of money coming. So the implication of this is the stop rate at this auction is going to decline. The 2033 is already trading around 20.3 to 20.5 compared to where the last auction closed with 21.5. So I think the DMO is trying to calm down the cost of borrowing, which is a good one. So there will be a lot of oversubscription, and the investor will want to have a piece of these bonds, so they will likely bid at a lower rate at this auction. So we await the results by close of business today.
Okay. So, Bosun, finally, now the Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee has already begun the 2-day policy meeting. Now, what is your expectation? Last time they met, they increased the MPR rate to 26.75%. Inflation has moderated for a second consecutive month. So, what is your expectation for the outcome of tomorrow's rates decision meeting?
So my expectation at tomorrow's, I think the MPC should hold the rate. What has changed between the last meeting, the inflation, which has been the reason for the hike, inflation has declined from 34.19 to 22.15, thanks to the base effect. And if you look at most of the central banks globally, they've been trying to come down on rate, Fed cut by 50 basis points. So though, if you look at it, Nigeria, the inflation is still there, but we've seen an improvement, which shows that the policy of MPC has worked. So there is a need to actually look at how to grow the economy. So I think my expectation is the MPC should hold the rate. If there is a need to maybe still be having a restrictive policy, maybe it should be through other means, not through the rate hike.
So thank you so much, Boston. Of course, we look out for that much-awaited outcome of the CBN MPC meeting, which of course has already begun today. Thank you so much for your view on our show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so that's Boston Obembe, fixed income dealer with Access Bank, giving us details on the fixed income markets as well as what to expect for tomorrow's the outcome of tomorrow's MPC meeting. And now let's go to the Middle East. As you can see on your board there, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, two of them on the United Arab Emirates, both in the red at intraday, 4,428.69. 0.7% down for the Dubai, and for the Abu Dhabi 0.03%, as you can see on your screen there. And of course, for this market, of course, we will look out for whether it will end in the green for that market. And let's look at the other side of the market. Saudi Arabia is actually on holiday. Yesterday was the last trading day for the week, but they are currently on holiday, a 2-day holiday, which they would resume on the 25th. And for the Qatari Stock Exchange, 0.08% up at intraday at 10,447.56 for that market, and that's a snapshot of the markets for the Middle East. So, Ladi, I would have given you details about the United States markets as well as Asia, but I think those markets were, it's
really not looking bad.
No, not looking bad at all.
Right. So I guess the market is still excited about that jumbo rate cut.
0.57. We were anticipating 0.25%.
Right, and I guess, forward guidance, everyone will be listening to what Fed speaks, what the U.S. federal presidents have to say, this week. What's going to happen at the next meeting? Will it be another jumbo cut or maybe a dovish cut at this time?
I think it's going to be another cut because...
Well, how big? Would it be 50 basis points or would it be 25 or would it be 75?
I think, Ladi, I'll wager a 0.25%.
0.25, a smaller one. Yes. All right, we'll definitely see, the next meeting and what the Feds have to say this week. Thank you so much, Nick, for the details.